welcome once again to Exit Strategy. This is the podcast where we take comedians, we say, hey, comedian, what would you do with your life if you were no longer a comedian? What would be your exit strategy? What would you do with your life if you did not make people laugh? I know you've been spending a lot of time in your life doing it. I'm taking that all away. What would you do? And I asked that question verbatim. It's a little bit wordy, I know. Hey, welcome to Exit Strategy. Welcome to 2019, a brand new year of exit strategies. I hope you enjoyed our best of Chats and Strats series at the end of the year. And also, I hope that I finished that. I hope that that did happen because as of right now, has not been put together. But I think it will. Today, we're going to start the year off with Mr. Bryan Cook. He is a writer for the Jimmy Kimmel show, and also he puts on shows in the most elegant locations in Los Angeles. He's got a show at the Virgil, ornate, beautiful, wonderful curtainry. And he's also got a new show that I just found out about. It's called Guilty Treasure, where he has comedians on to explain songs that they love, unironically, that are certifiably terrible. Songs like Xanadu or songs like God Bless the USA by Lee Greenwood. Comedians come on, they say why they love this song so, and then they get to perform that song with a live band, of which Bryan Cook is usually behind the keys. So go check out Guilty Treasure in 2019. Make that your late resolution to check that out. But we get to talk to Bryan about music, about his shows, his careers. He's got an exit strategy of questionable legality. First time I think we've had an exit strategy I don't know we're legally allowed to talk about, but we do. So check that out. Here's Bryan Cook on Exit Strategy. Enjoy. So punctual this morning, Bryan. So punctual.
Yeah,
for a Sunday at noon.
I'm trying to break the mold, you know?
Hey, more people got to be like that.
Be on time.
Could you imagine if comedy all of a sudden was like, we're going to start the show
I know.
When the flyer says we're going to start the show?
And I'm as guilty of that as anyone. I absolutely advertise a half hour early for anything I put on.
You need to get them in. I'm like at that point where I do understand that there's some nerds that showed up like right at the flyer time and they're getting kind of antsy.
Right.
But then do you have that thing where you're like, the room's not quite ready to start a show yet? Can you feel that? Like, I don't know if it's the diva in me.
I'm sure it's in our heads because it's definitely no one show. I mean, you want people to get settled.
Yeah.
Like there's a bunch of people crowded around the bar.
Yeah.
You know, you want them to get a drink and sit down. But
I want the like. I'm like, oh, the vibe isn't quite there, and I have no like tangible explanation of what that is or like what needs to happen.
Your show, you guys like set up the room basically.
Yes,
you kind of created a show in a room.
Yes, we turned a pizza parlor back room into a showroom by covering up the emergency exit curtains. And making it that. Yeah,
mine's a little more walk in and there's a room ready.
Oh yeah, you at the Virgil. You've got like the most elegant stage setup there ever was.
Right, for idiots to talk about their dicks.
Exactly. Yeah. Like it'll be idiots talking about their dicks, but then they'll be like, all right, you want a cold lighting setting or do you want like a warm? We could get a little purple hue in there. They have so much shit at their disposal.
Yeah, it's absurd.
You know? How's it going over at the Virgil? You've been doing big money. You've got so many shows, man.
Well, 2.
Oh, you did just competitive erotic fan fiction done?
I mean,
has it been retired?
It is certainly on hiatus.
Yeah.
I haven't done it since January of last year at Sketchfest.
Yeah.
And they asked me to come back this year, and I just, schedule-wise, I just didn't want to do it. And maybe next year. But I have never said I'm never doing it again, but I just burned out after 5 years of doing that show.
It feels like there's a limit to how much you can listen to people.
Oh, absolutely. I got so tired of like figuring out subtly what my friends were into, you know.
Okay, you know about that. Interesting.
Yeah,
that competitive erotic fan fiction is exactly what the title is. But in case you don't know, comics are asked to write erotic fan fiction about a variety of subjects on the spot.
Yes,
which I had the good fortune of performing the evening that beloved actor Anton Yelchin died.
I forgot about that.
And somehow that became my suggestion. That was riding the line of, I don't want to do this, and this is
forgot
going
about
to
that.
be...
And that was the truck, the like fluke truck accident?
Yeah, it was like a freak accident. He was like 20-something, and then somebody suggested it. And it was because you do that thing where it's like the audience can choose one or the other, and they clearly went with the most horrific.
Yes.
So I don't even remember. The other one would have been something dumb like Fast and the Furious.
Yeah,
like, we don't want to hear that.
Right.
We don't want to hear about Vin Diesel and The
It's
Rock.
mostly just an audience throwing you under the bus and then getting offended when you make a dead guy fuck.
You know, I don't remember, and I hope to God I don't have like a copy of it on my computer. You know what I mean? Like to be found someday. But
the Grolix guys used to leave their copies in the restroom of whatever club we did
that's
it.
Nice of them. That's a little reading material for you.
Yeah, that was a tradition for a while. Or actually, just somewhere else in town, they would just take it to like a random bar or restaurant and leave it
at a coffee shop.
Yeah.
Well, I have a feeling though that the Anton Yelchin thing is not the most horrific thing that's ever happened at competitive erotic fan fiction.
That was pretty cold-blooded.
Yeah.
It was definitely right up there. Andy Wood had to do Trail of Tears one time.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Look, none of this is our fault.
The good thing is it wasn't the round where he came in with Trail of Tears. He was forced to do it.
He was forced by the audience to write a sex story about the Trail of
That
Tears.
makes it a little bit better, but yeah. Wow.
And he won, I think, too, if I remember right. I think that was...
Well, of course he won. I'm pretty sure I won with Anton Yelchin because the audience has no, we have to. We're so sorry we did that to you. So you will be the winner of that one.
Absolutely.
And I'm also a little bit glad that I don't believe that one was recorded for posterity.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
Oh, was it?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, so it exists somewhere.
Yeah, that's out there.
Oh, man.
Someday
that's going to come out at some Star Trek convention or something. And
I know. I always think about that now with like the tweets that get people fired from jobs and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like the horrendous things all of our friends have said on my podcast in the guise of fan fiction, but still, it's fucking horrifying.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you do get the buffer zone of how outrageous you can push it. And
yeah, I mean,
kind of softens the blow, but good
or else
Lord.
we're all screwed.
There's a lot of out of context material. You might be the keeper of many Hollywood
careers. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
you're going to be blackmailing a lot of us into many things.
Yes.
The last time I saw you, we ran into each other, and you were just coming from a rehearsal space. You were like playing music. I did not know until today that you had a show that involved playing music.
Yes.
It's called Guilty Treasure.
Guilty Treasure.
I assume you were practicing there. I just thought you were just like, we just jam. You had like work to do.
I mean, I goof off there a lot because I just have it. It's a space a friend of mine, and I rented out about a year or 2 years ago. And then it became like used for this show that Andy Wood again. We started just over a year ago, but we barely ever do it. We've only done 8 of them. It's really hard to put together because it's a full band.
Because you have to practice. But what's the elevator pitch of the show? Just explain.
Comedians and musicians and actors and writers we have on as guests, and they have to pick a song that they're embarrassed to like, and then we kind of interview them about why they like this terrible song. Yeah. And then they have to sing it with our house band.
And you play the songs.
Yeah.
I saw a clip of it. I can see why it's not like a weekly show.
Yeah, no, we'd have to be making a living off of it to do it every week.
Well, maybe someday you will.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, it's I guess pitchable.
Yeah. So how many songs do you have to learn per
7 or 8?
7 or 8 songs, and it's always the same band.
Yes,
pretty much.
We had one dude that quit early on. He sent me like a scathing email, and basically he was like, "What is with these song choices, guys? Come on!" It was incredible. He just completely missed the point of which is fine. Like, if you don't want to, no one's making any money off of it. He was just a friend of Andy's, but he clearly hadn't. Like, he'd done the gig twice, and he must have been like, "Why won't they shut up about these? They talk so long between songs." It
didn't compute to him why you guys were playing Kokomo or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. It was. I think what put him over the edge was "God Bless the USA" by
Lee Greenwood. Okay.
Yes. As performed by half of Tenacious D, not the two you know,
the other ones.
Yeah.
But do you guys? Because I played music for a hot minute, and I definitely had to, because it was like a collective thing. Like whoever wanted to bring in a cover, we would play. Okay. And there were definitely songs that I'm like, I don't really like this song.
Of course.
But then there's this weird thing where when you kind of are let inside like the structure of it, and you learn how to play it, you kind of appreciate it on some level. Have
Oh,
you
100%.
learned to appreciate some really shitty songs?
Definitely, and even the ones that I still walk away hating the song, they're still fun to play.
Yeah.
Because of the context.
Yeah.
Like we're playing it once and never again. You know, this isn't like a cover band where we have to hump our instruments to a wedding every weekend. And, oh,
I don't know.
it.
That could be, again, that could be a career.
The future. It's even if it's a song that I can't stand, it's like, I don't know, Ace of Base or something.
Yeah.
Then you have stuck in your head all week.
It just seems really strange to spend probably, I'm sure, hours learning Lee Greenwood's God Bless the USA.
It's
in your brain.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
You've
that
got the
one
skill.
wasn't too bad because, well, part of the reason I wanted to start this show was to make myself learn guitar.
Yeah.
And then when that dude quit, he was our keyboard player, and then I was like, God damn it, I got to go back to playing keyboards.
Oh, no.
So I switch back and forth depending on what the songs are on the show. But that one was so hard that I just didn't even play guitar. And we had, luckily, we had Koneski from Tenacious D on the show anyway.
Yeah.
It was him and Mike Bray, who he's not in D, but he opens for him. And he was singing it, and Koneski is a monster guitarist, and he was playing guitar. So I just sang backup vocals, and we rented crash cymbals, like marching band crash cymbals.
Give it a little epic.
Well, there's one big in the middle of the song, and you got to have them. You got to have the damn things. So that was a $30 cymbal crash.
You have to.
Worth
you
every
have to
penny.
spend that.
Yeah.
It's so fun to play music live, especially coming from a comedy background.
Yeah.
Because there's no silence ever.
Right.
It's literally always loud.
Sure.
It feels so safe.
And they're going to clap when you're done.
They're going to clap when you're done.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to be, this is not a statement on you, it's a statement on me. You don't even have to be that good.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm not that good. Yeah. I mean, I've played drums for 30 years, but I don't play drums in this band.
People just are impressed that you took the time to learn something.
Right.
And what I didn't spend 10 years being a shitty comedian?
Exactly.
Like,
right.
come on.
Exactly. Oh,
I get no recognition for that?
Watching Jared Logan bring the house down, doing one of the worst renditions of a song I've ever heard in my life, but just selling it so hard and being so goddamn funny and animated. He did Demons by Imagine Dragons.
Oh, my God.
It's a god-awful song.
I hate that
and he
song.
can't sing for shit, and he knows it, and he sold it so hard. Like, it doesn't matter.
Which one is that one? The Imagine Dragons one? It's not radioactive.
It's where my demons hide.
Oh no!
It's the worst.
Imagine Dragons. Like if movie trailers didn't exist, Imagine Dragons wouldn't exist.
Oh, 100%.
It is just music to eventually sell.
Yes.
To be in the background of a commercial for like a Dodge Ram or something.
I mean, they're in Wreck-It Ralph.
I cannot stand.
They were fucking sound checking under my window at work because they were playing the
Jimmy
Wreck-It
Kimmel
Ralph.
show.
We had to have them
Wreck-It
out on the
Ralph?
street for the Wreck-It Ralph premiere. Yeah,
I just got to hear Imagine Dragons go at it.
It was a nightmare.
But do you appreciate them now?
No,
Okay, all
God,
right.
no. And that song particularly was just like it's the dumbest. It's 4 chords. There's nothing. There's no real structure to it. Like there was nothing about it.
But it's millions of dollars.
They made so much money.
So much money for these fucking. I'm just getting mad thinking about Imagine
I know
Dragons.
they're infuriating.
So what's on the agenda for Guilty Treasure? You got another one coming up?
It should be February 6th if that's the first Wednesday in February.
Are you in the midst of rehearsals for that yet?
No, we haven't even booked it yet. So it's at the Hotel Cafe.
Where is that, by the way?
It is on Cahuenga, just south of Hollywood Boulevard.
Okay.
Hotel Cafe is great.
I know what you're talking about.
It's dynamite. It's mostly like kind of a folk rock singer-songwriter venue. It's beautiful. They have 2 rooms. We're in the smaller one that they say holds 90, but that would be like you'd be really crammed in with 90
that'd be
people.
a tight 90.
It's like 60, really.
Yeah.
It's a nice little room. And then the other one's like 150. It's a great place to go see music.
You have a real knack of picking venues, Bryan.
Yeah. I'll give myself credit for that. Yeah.
You don't settle for the back of the pizza room. You go, I want a stage, damn it.
Right.
I want a stage. I want a lighting rig. I want a lighting guy.
Mm-hmm. Perhaps a green room. What a concept. You guys have that pizza, though.
We got that pizza,
It's
though.
really
We got
good.
that pizza, but I would love to have a dedicated sound guy.
Sure.
That just makes it feel so much better.
Oh, absolutely.
If you can just ask a guy to put a little reverb on your voice for no reason.
Not even
than
ask, demand.
Can I get a little reverb?
Speaking of which, can I get a little right now? Is that an option? Does this?
We'll put it in post.
Okay,
in post.
excellent. Good.
In post, it will sound like there's 20 of you.
Perfect.
It's going to be like chorus pedals, the whole thing.
Excellent.
Bryan has a lot of tech demands when he comes in to do a podcast.
Yeah, I send a pretty thick rider.
Yeah, he's got a whole pedal board with him right now that's going to be fed into this. You'll hear it. It's like the edge.
You know what? You know what's crazy is that you won't even notice, but you will hear. It'll be there.
Yeah. If I played you Bryan's voice normally,
right.
It is the reediest, thinnest thing you've ever heard.
I sound like a 12-year-old girl.
You would never know. You would never know.
This is through a vintage tube screamer.
There's so many tubes. It is 1,000 degrees in here. There's so many tube amps going.
Yeah.
Stacks.
Worth it. I think your listeners will agree it's worth it.
Yeah. Now you get to play music and you get an excuse to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And this has come up on the podcast several times.
Yeah.
As we kind of talk about a life outside of comedy.
Sure.
It is a pain in the ass to like carve out time to practice an instrument.
I mean, it's the only hobby that I have, though.
Yeah.
Like, I love it.
Yeah.
I love practicing.
I do too, but it takes.
Oh, you're just saying like scheduling.
Yeah, like like for the past 10 years with comedy, like I just never really like it just got further in the back.
Sure.
Which is cool that you have this sort of scheduled, like, you know, like if you join like a writing group or something, it like keeps you a reason to do it because people are going to hold you accountable.
Absolutely.
The band is a perfect way to do that.
Yes.
See, I've got a guitar hung up on the wall.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I've taken that down in 6 months. And I feel really bad about it because I just have it.
Right.
But like, I don't got no time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky schedule wise that I get off work and I walk 8 blocks to my rehearsal studio.
Yeah.
And then I get on the subway and go home. Like I could not have a better setup.
You've got the ease of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just got to rent some space.
Yeah, that's the other part. It's not fun to like play through headphones in your apartment.
No. And I also since I don't practice, I would say it's a solid hour and 20 minutes before I can like warm up to like, oh, I'm competent.
I mean, I'm right there with you.
And we are like super window right out to the street.
Yeah.
I just don't want people walking by seeing like, oh, look at that guy practicing his guitar. I have so much shame.
Sure. Oh, and I mean, put singing on top of that. Like you can't practice singing, especially the shit that we play.
Well,
like I don't mind driving our neighbors crazy at the rehearsal studio because we're surrounded by garbage bands. So if they have to listen to us practicing literally a Paris Hilton song,
that is so funny.
Fuck them.
Just
Yeah, but I'm not going to do that at home. Good Lord.
Of people looking in your apartment window and you're singing Imagine Dragons.
What's wrong with this guy?
Asshole?
Yeah.
Well, I got to get back into it. It's like I don't know. I feel a lot better when I do.
Sure.
It's like exercise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, we'll have you on the show, and that'll force you to learn one song.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
All right.
No one's ever played, I don't think anyone other than Kineski, and we've never had anyone come in and actually play an instrument.
You know, I don't know that I could do that.
Really?
I don't have a lot of experience with playing and singing.
It's not easy.
Yeah, it's like two different head things going on.
Definitely.
Which is like, hats off to anybody that can do it, let alone like, if you could play a bass and sing.
Right. I've never tried that.
That to me is like, because I could strum, but bass, like if you're doing, oh, no, can't do it.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Drums and doing backup vocals is super hard too. I've had to do that a little bit years ago, and it's crazy.
Hats off to Ringo, man. He did it all the time.
Hats off to Ringo.
Hats off to Ringo. This episode is brought to you by Ringo Starr, all-star band. Where are you at? You're at Jimmy Kimmel now?
Yeah.
Still writing there? How long have you been at the Jimmy Kimmel show?
Only like 8 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I must have caught you like right when you had started at that show.
Yeah, that wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, that wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, I mean, I still kind of just started.
Yeah. How are you enjoying the late night television writing experience?
It's great.
You've had some.
Yeah, I mean, this is my first like late night grind kind of show. Yeah. That's also like year round. You know.
Yeah.
I did a couple seasons with Eliza at Drop the Mic, but that was like a 6-week job.
Yeah.
You know, and that was the closest facsimile to this, I guess.
Yeah. But now
it's great.
Every night.
A lot of hours.
Well, I can imagine it's a lot of hours. It's a lot of television.
Yeah, and it's like that show. People forget. You know, no one else does the amount of like production that we do.
Yeah.
For late night shows, like there's man on the street bits and pre-recorded sketches and live bits, and it's like the fucking Muppet Show. You know, like there's just always stuff Somebody the other day, we had an extra in, and he was like, "Do you kind of feel like you're in a background scene on 30 Rock?" I'm like, "Yeah, constantly."
Yeah.
There's a dude in a bear suit.
That's the show business I want.
It is
to be.
pretty rad.
I always want show business to be like that, or
Yeah.
like the last scenes of Pee-wee's Big Adventure, where like you're driving around a studio lot.
Sure.
There's a Godzilla guy. There's like everybody's dressed in costume, but then you go to
pretty much this place.
Yeah, but normally you go to a studio lot and it's boring.
Absolutely.
It's just golf carts. That's
right.
it.
It's just golf carts and like one weird celebrity hanging out backstage for some reason.
Yeah.
But this is like, there was a day that I was like, oh yeah, fuck, I forgot. I got to go down to the prop guy and approve a severed finger for a sketch. Like, just the dumbest. Is this knife big enough, sir? Yeah, that'll do. If you have anything bigger, that'd be great.
Yeah, can we get a few knives?
Yeah,
a few.
literally. And then they come in with like 5 knives. You're like, that one. That's the knife.
What a career!
It's very weird.
What a career you've happened upon.
It's yeah.
Picking out knives for Jimmy Kimmel.
Picking out knives.
That show's kind of like the dark horse, I feel like, a little bit. It doesn't get as much attention as the other ones, which is kind of a shame.
Yes and no. Jimmy's had a lot of, because he's, kind of stepped up the political stuff the last few years.
That's true.
And so I think he's gotten on more people's radar for that. But also, it lost us viewers, for sure.
Yeah.
So some people, I think, tuned in because of it, and some more didn't.
Yeah. But I mean, it's every other show at this point is just YouTube like clips of games now, and like we should be watching the one that's like different.
Sure,
which is that?
Yeah, I mean, I wish more people did. But our ratings are great. Like we have nothing to complain about. We're not beating Fallon usually, but
nobody's beating Fallon.
We did when we were in New York. We did a week of shows in New York. We beat Fallon.
That's all it took was a little New York rivalry. Just
I think they
hit him on his turf.
Yeah, exactly. We street fought with his writers. I beat the shit out of Mike Drucker.
Oh, no.
Drucker hasn't been there for years. I couldn't think of another Fallon writer.
I can't think of any Fallon writers.
You're better off.
It's just like that Fallon's a world that I'm sure that I have a lot of connection to that I don't even realize.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, every show, after a while, you start to realize, like, oh, yeah, you know someone from years ago everywhere.
Well, then I always see them on the street, and I'm like, are you still with? And they're like, no, I haven't been there for 4 years. Like,
right.
There's no, like, transparency to who's writing shows.
Sure.
Like, it's kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's weird. And there's, like, our credits don't even air most nights, I realized.
Oh, come on.
At least not on Hulu.
I'm sure that if they do, that's just like,
right.
Done.
Yeah.
But, and then also, like, you're not going to be, like, always being like, hey, just a reminder, everybody.
Right.
This is my job.
Oh, God, no. The people that do that drive me crazy.
Just like posting photos of it, tagging the shit out of it, just as like a reminder.
A reminder, yeah.
This is where I work, just so you guys all know.
Especially if you've been fired. You still have it in your bio.
Oh, are we calling somebody out?
Absolutely. I'll name names after the pod.
Okay, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you can do your own research. You've had a long, hard road in the old TV writing industry.
Yeah, I mean... I've been here 6 years now, and I mean, you know the whole story with Joan Rivers when we walked almost 6 years ago.
Yeah,
it feels good to land somewhere that's like good.
Are you allowed to talk about the Rivers debacle, or is it still? I don't know where that ended up. I mean, she's dead, but
she is super dead, and
none
of, as far as I know, all of the writers are still alive. So fuck you, John.
Well, basically, what happened was you guys kind of went on strike.
We went on strike.
Yeah.
But there were only 12 of us,
9
or something. So that's not much of a strike.
Did you feel any consequences from that? Like, were you in any way blacklisted or anything, or did it kind of?
I don't think so. Yeah. But it also, of course, we were hoping the opposite would happen. That like shows would reach out, like, there's all these writers available, and that was absolutely not the case.
Quite as interested.
No. I mean, people would be like, "We appreciate your service," and that was pretty much it.
Fighting the good fight.
Yeah.
We don't have anything for you.
We got
I'm afraid.
nothing for you. No, I mean, I was struggling until a year and a half ago. After that,
how long were you guys out on strike?
Well, we're technically still on strike, except the show ended.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
We never stopped being on strike.
You're still on the picket line. You might have a record.
Out there every day.
He always has to carry some sort of poster board.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the strike is over.
No, I'm actually just now paying back my fucking loans that I had to take out from the Writers Guild to survive at that point.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but they don't make you pay them back until you're like making residuals off something.
So you kind of can't get successful.
Right, you're always screwed.
You always have to stay under the radar, like just under that level.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
No, that was a nightmare. She was a terrible boss. And whatever. We walked, and that was that.
Yeah. Well, Congratulations on sticking it to old Joan River. I want to get to know you just a little bit.
Okay.
I don't know where you're from. Where are you from?
I'm from Maine.
Maine?
Yeah.
That is, I think, the first person I've ever met from Maine.
No.
I have to.
You know more of us than you think.
Do I really?
Yeah, Heather Thompson.
Oh, Heather Thompson's from Maine?
Heather Thompson's from Maine.
Oh, I thought she was from Connecticut.
She seems very Connecticut.
She's very, very much Connecticut.
I can say that. My mother's from Connecticut. I am half Connecticut.
Half Connecticut.
No, she's from like the southern bougie part of Maine.
Where are you from? Like the top?
No, I'm not that far from her. Like an hour northwest of where she lived, probably. Kind of closer to the New Hampshire, northern New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Or, North Conway, New Hampshire.
I'm not familiar with North Conway, New Hampshire. Now, wait, it goes Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, right?
It does.
Okay, so I think this is just, hopefully you will solve a problem that I have.
Okay.
Now, on my stats for the podcast, I get to see where in what states people have listened to the show. We're still looking for a New Hampshire listener.
Oh, wow. Not one New Hampshire listener, huh?
We haven't gotten anybody from New Hampshire yet.
I think if I know anyone
This might
in New
be
Hampshire.
the one.
I don't know if it's going to trickle.
All right.
It's a tribal part of the country.
We don't listen to those Maine assholes.
Right.
Well, maybe they'll hate listen to it.
Maybe they'll hate listen. I can't. Oh, you know who's from
I'll
New
take
Hampshire?
it.
Jack Robichaux is from New Hampshire.
All right, we got to get him on the show.
Yeah.
I got like a few states. They're all the weird ones. I got to
Okay.
get a North Dakota.
Oof.
I got to get an Alaska.
Don't know.
I got to get a Hawaii.
Don't. Jonah Ray.
Jonah Ray. He might be hard to get.
He's hard to get.
He's
playing hard to get. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Ben Roy, also a Mainer.
He's a Mainer?
Ben Roy's a Mainer.
Oh, wow. I guess I didn't know.
Christian Duguay is kind of a Mainer. I think he was born in New Hampshire and raised in Maine.
I did not know that there was such a Maine contingency over here.
Well, none of us started comedy there, so it's not like no one's like flying the flag of Maine comedy.
But I guess
in L.A.
that would be really funny if you guys like got way into state pride. But I guess I don't know. I don't know what the Maine sensibility is, so I wouldn't know. Like, I don't know. How would you pinpoint somebody from Maine? What would be the characteristics?
Oof.
Own a boat.
Well, there's what you're picturing of best case scenario of a Mainer, which maybe a coastal lifestyle. You got a boat, whether it's a working boat or just a pleasure vessel. No one back there says pleasure vessel, to be clear. You got that, but that's not where any of us are from. Like,
no,
Heather a little bit. Heather had a pony. Like, fuck Heather. I grew up in a terrible like trailer park laden meth den. Basically, I mean, not my family, but
you were around.
We were surrounded by absolute degenerates and scum. It was terrible. I hated it.
This is not the Maine that I am picturing at
Yeah,
all.
no, it's all the stories about opiate addiction that you hear that mostly are like
what's going on up in Maine.
Yeah, you mostly hear about like Ohio, but it's no different.
Well, it's because like I bet it's so much of it is probably pretty isolated from like any city.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, I mean Portland, Maine, the quote unquote biggest city in Maine is like it's definitely under 200,000 people.
Yeah,
but I only lived 2 hours from Boston. It wasn't the worst.
Yeah,
but you have to actually go there. It's
got to hop on that train.
Yeah, yeah. But no, it's a very fist fight in the convenience store parking lot kind of.
Sounds like there's some spunk and attitude in there.
Oh, there's a lot of spunk and attitude. You would not like it. You would not like
I'd like it from afar with the car window safely up.
Yeah, I mean it's funny to like joke about with people from back there, but I don't like luckily my parents moved out of my hometown like 20 years ago, and they're in a much nicer part of the state.
So you're not making it back to Maine that often.
No, I mean I'll go back in the summers and hang out, but I don't go to where I came from.
So if you didn't start comedy in Maine, where did you start? Seattle. Whoa. Yeah. So all the way the hell across.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
I graduated from college and had a job fall through, and so I thought I was supposed to be playing drums on a cruise ship. I went to school for music.
Holy shit.
So I quote unquote landed a job. I was supposed to be in the Mediterranean on a cruise ship like a month after I graduated college, which cruise ship music. No one's cup of tea, but when you're 22 and you're just like, oh, I'm going to Barcelona for work now.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. And then last minute they called and were like, we don't have a contract for you after all. And I thought I was like waiting. I was living at my parents' house, but I thought just for a month. And then I'm, going off to this fucking weird,
traveling the
crazy
world
job. And then I was just living at my parents' house. And my buddy was moving to Seattle to go to a college that Nintendo owns called DigiPen. It's a game design school.
Yeah.
And we graduated high school at the same time, but he had dabbled in music in college and dropped out. And then was going to do this. And so I was like, fuck it, I'm just going with you.
To live in Seattle.
Moved to Seattle.
Just as like a total, I cannot be with my parents.
Well, just as a total, like, I need to do something with my life, and I'd heard Seattle was cool.
Nirvana and all that.
Right. I mean, this was 2000, so.
So you're living in Seattle.
Yeah.
The drumming falls through.
I taught for a living for exclusively for probably 5 or 6 years, just like private drum lessons. But I taught total for like 10 or 12.
Yeah.
But part of that I was working in marketing, and part of it I was working for Barnes and Noble. So there was a minute in the middle where I was making a living teaching, but I was never making a living playing.
And during this, was this when comedy started? When did that happen?
No, basically it was like a clean break because I lost a rehearsral space.
Yeah.
And I had like a 9-piece band at the time, and so we needed a lot of room. Yeah. And it was this old like warehouse space that they threw all the musicians out. It was like a bunch of shithead artists, like the worst artists you've ever met in your life. And so they all teamed up to have they just didn't want to hear people practicing music anymore. They couldn't possibly paint their fucking garbage art.
Sorry that your art's more important than our art.
Exactly.
Dude.
So they threw all the band members out, and rehearsal spaces are hard to come by and very expensive usually as a result. And so I was suddenly without like any sort of outlet. And I'd always wanted to do stand-up, but there's no, like, music's an easy thing to get into as a kid.
Yeah.
You take drum lessons when you're in 4th grade, and that's what I did. There's no, like, I'm sure now there's fucking some bullshit comedy school that you can send your kids to.
You can definitely, like...
anything. You can teach your...
online masterclass course or some bullshit.
You can take a class from Steve Martin. Right.
I'm sure.
Hasn't done stand-up since
he knows.
1980.
He knows exactly the step one.
Right.
How to get into it.
Yeah. How to do your arena tour in 1980.
You just want to make sure that there's big enough screens to.
For your visual gags. Anyway, so I just started doing open mics out of desperation for like some kind of
creative outlet.
Yeah. And it's it's. The major thing was like when you finish a gig, if it sucks, you're not loading drums into your car after.
Ooh, that can be
that was huge. Of like, I'm still having fun and performing and getting on stage and doing something greater. And then I just dip.
Yeah, you don't have to stay around at all.
No.
Yeah, that is the one thing that I absolutely do not miss about the brief period of time that I was in a band.
Yeah,
the drummer's drums.
Yes.
Loading and unloading. Don't miss it.
No, and it's, we're lucky with the Hotel Cafe, everything's backlined. So we just walk from our rehearsal space. I pick up my guitar and keyboard and head over there. Like, we don't even have to drive to it. And the drums are there, amps are there. It's awesome.
Just as easy as stand-up.
Yeah, pretty much.
So you're doing it in Seattle.
Started in Seattle and then moved here about 6 years ago.
Okay. So you were in Seattle for a pretty healthy chunk of time.
I was in Seattle for 12 or 13 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You're always in those,
corners, hitting all
these corners, these coastal corners over here. I just feel like you're putting malt vinegar on everything you eat. Like super coastal.
Yeah. That's funny. That's like legitimately a thing that people have looked at me funny for my whole life after
like,
Maine.
where's the malt vinegar?
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Don't stop it. Don't look. You ever had salt and vinegar chips? Yeah, of course. So why are you looking at me funny for putting vinegar on my French fries?
Just let me put it on French fries.
At least it's not mayonnaise. I'm not for Quebecois.
You could be.
Could be.
That's
close
true.
Enough.
So you got out of all right. Let's segue into the exit strategy portion of here, because basically what I'm seeing is you escaped Maine with dreams of music.
Sure.
Got into stand-up comedy.
Yes.
In Seattle.
Yep.
And it's turned into a pretty lucrative.
It's great. Things are currently great.
Things are going great.
Right.
Now I got to take it all away.
Right.
I got to just strip you of everything, every bit of success that you've worked so hard for.
Sure.
And I got to ask you, if that wasn't a part of your life, if you were not a writer, if you were not doing comedy, what path would you go down?
So there's a few options.
Okay. I'd love to. We're going to entertain them all.
Does it have to be legal?
This question has never been asked,
okay.
And I would let's just say no.
It does not.
For the sake of conversation, I would like to see where this goes.
Oh, well, one of the options is definitely paid assassin.
Okay.
And look, I'm sure that it's not the beautiful lifestyle that you think it's going to be.
No, I think it's very lonely, and it's a lot of like stakeouts in Croatia.
Yes.
Yeah.
But man, beaches in Croatia are fucking something.
I wonder how much time off a paid assassin has.
I think as much as you want.
Would you like take off like 2 months at a time, or would it be like 2 years in between your hits?
I think you could probably do like 2. I'm going to say 2 hits a year, big ones, good ones,
real
not fucking around,
two high paid hits.
Yeah, I'm not knocking off a cheating spouse.
No.
These
you're
these
doing
are heads
like
of state. These are crooked.
Yeah.
I have scruples.
You're gonna need
warlords
to go on the run after this.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. You know, though, I don't know how hard it is to break into the paid assassin business.
I have not researched this. I'm scared to Google it.
But I feel like you might have to pay your dues a little bit. You know, knock off some low level.
Hey,
people.
listen, man, I've worked my way up in some industries. You know, I know what the fuck.
Well,
I'm doing.
I just want you. I don't want you to zoom ahead to 5 years in. I want you. Let's contemplate the beginning of your paid assassin.
Yeah, that's a good point. There are probably going to have to be some jilted lovers. Along the way,
you got to prove your worth.
You got to prove your worth. But I've watched Grosse Pointe Blank so many times. I feel like that counts as job training.
Are you handy with a piece?
I fired a gun when I was like 10 at summer camp, like a single shot rifle, like riflery.
Yeah,
you know when they take kids and teach them to shoot for some fucking reason.
For some reason, well, they gotta learn. You know,
you gotta learn somewhere.
Okay, so there's a little bit of gun work. You might have to do it with your bare hands.
I'm prepared for that.
Yeah.
My dad has a BB gun for scaring off squirrels from the feeder because that's what one does in Maine.
Okay, so it's in the blood.
And I can hit like a beer can from across the lawn.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a huge lawn, but I think I could fucking handle it.
There's some potential.
There's some potential. I don't wear glasses. Look, that's good, right?
There you go. Yeah, you got the vision.
Excellent vision.
You got to.
Look at that, steady as a rock.
Ooh, he's holding his hand. It's like looking at a statue.
Yeah, and I didn't even do the Gene Wilder joke. I didn't even.
I think you could do an imposing figure too.
Okay.
Like you could really pull off like a nice intimidating stare.
Yeah.
You know, which I think is part of the battle.
I mean, I think best case scenario they never see you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you don't want them to ever see you.
No.
Yeah.
No. I don't want to start out as like a low-level thug that's just like putting the heat on someone. I don't want to just be knocking on doors like,
we need the money.
We'd appreciate if you stop talking about. This is you never see it coming.
I like how you have to affect the Brooklyn accent.
Yeah, definitely.
As part of the job.
Yeah.
Mr. Gambino says.
Right.
Yeah, you have to. Otherwise, you're not doing it right.
Yeah. If you're gonna or like a vaguely Russian.
Yeah,
sort of
some
Baltic.
sort of something.
Yeah, those are the new like terrifying stereotypes. I think like a Chechnyan. No one knows anything about Chechnya.
I don't. Thank God for like your Jason Bourne series for bringing in new terrifying stereotypes.
Yes,
foreign stereotypes. Do you have any other illegal plans?
No, that's the only illegal one that came to mind so far.
And I'll briefly ask what I usually ask: would you be creatively fulfilled in that? Do you think?
No.
Okay.
No, I think I'd still have to have a like. Have you seen Patriot?
No.
Oh man, I mean, I was literally about to riff what the plot of Patriot is. Patriot's a fucking amazing
now you
show.
can, and I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I should pitch that, and then you'll see a billboard in 6 months and be like, "Wow, Bryan sold a show." Patriot's on Amazon, and it's about a spy who, in order to deal with all of the horrible people that he's assassinated and all the terrible stuff that he's done, sings like folk songs about it in like coffee houses in Amsterdam. But he like spells out everything he just did.
Just are like, "Oh, it's so vivid. How
It's
does
incredible.
he come up with
It's
that?"
a really fucking good show, and Mike O'Connell's in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that might be an option. You'd have to you definitely would have a lot of darkness in you.
Yeah.
And it would have to come out in some fashion.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So that's Assassin. Can we switch into a more legitimate exit strategy?
If we must.
Maybe just for the sake of discussion.
Cased Assassin doesn't work out. I mean, it falls into this is like the legal version is travel writer.
Okay.
Like a food and travel writer.
That is kind of the dream.
A real bullshit bougie job where you're getting away with something.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, oh yeah, I just have to make fucking Uruguay seem appealing in a glossy. Like, great. What a fucking amazing. If you can piece a few paragraphs, you could do this in a heartbeat. I've read your Curbed stuff. You're a good
Yeah, why am I not doing this?
Dude, get on it.
I never travel. I could.
I mean, make someone else pay for it.
Yeah, how do you get into this industry?
I have no idea.
What do you have to do to do you just say one day, I'm a travel writer.
Uh-huh.
I would like to go to Costa Rica.
I'm going to guess there's a couple ways. One, you just start your own goddamn travel blog and a fucking Instagram, and you just start taking all the shots that people want to see. Probably help to have like abs and be in the photos yourself. Probably help to be a 22-year-old beautiful woman.
It's not looking good.
No,
I want to be like a scrubby Jonathan Gold type.
Sure.
Who you would never expect.
Sure.
To be cultured at all.
Very good question. I don't know. I don't know what his background is. I don't know if he went to culinary school or if he's just good at writing about food.
I think he was a music journalist who just started writing about food.
Okay.
And then it just stuck.
Okay.
It just was like a fluke thing.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like comedy, where it's like you don't really know how to get into it. You just sort of get into it.
Right.
Yeah.
You stumble into a basement one day and there's a guy and you're like, I'm funnier than him.
Okay, I'll do this.
You
whatever.
either are or
and then,
you aren't.
A decade later, like shit. I guess I'm a comedian.
Right. I feel like living here, you get yourself a lit agent. And you're like, get me a fucking guest column at I'm sure you know Allison Leiby. She writes for Eater from time to time.
Yeah.
That feels like a step in that direction.
Well, I don't even need to work for her, and I like how it's becoming my exit strategy. I wouldn't even want to necessarily have to work for a reputable organization. I would write for an in-flight magazine if it meant
absolutely
jet set lifestyle,
definitely
on American Airlines.
You're getting those bump ups too. After that, you're not flying fucking economy anymore.
I get to bring 2 suitcases, no charge.
For free.
If you had to choose, would you do? You gave the example of travel or food. Is there one that you would gravitate to, or maybe another type of columnist that you would want to get some free shit with?
No, I think that's the. I just have so little respect for music critics, and that's the only other thing that I know.
That's what I was going to ask, if you had any interest in that.
No, because that just sucks. Like you're just like sure you get some. It used to be. I had a zine. Yeah. I guess you'd call it with a friend, but it was just like an email thing.
Yeah.
In the late 90s, so we could just get free CDs from jazz labels, and it worked.
It worked.
We got free CDs, and
now nobody
reviews.
wants free CDs.
Right, exactly. So what's the fucking?
It?
I know people in LA. I can get into free concerts already.
You get some promo codes.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not music critic, but what about music journalist, which is like a step up?
So interviewing bands.
Yeah. So you're kind of you do get to assign to go on tour with them, or you get to go show how Johnny Depp is a fucking psychopath living in a French castle.
Yeah.
You get those assignments.
Yeah. I mean, sure, that's not bad.
Yeah,
that's not bad. I feel like there's a good every now and then you're gonna get the Elvis Costello. You're gonna be like, all right, this is a guy whose brain I do want to pick. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then you got the Imagine Dragons. You're like, let's see what these motherfuckers are getting into. And that's just hilarious. You can have a funny story about something that happened.
You are going to have to spend a week at a time with each member of Imagine Dragons
right.
at one point.
Yeah,
we got a lot of Imagine Dragon cover stories going on.
Definitely. Figure out what goes on at the lair. I assume that's what they call their rehearsal studio.
God, I don't even want to. It feels like they would just work at one of those shared work spaces, really sterile, IKEA-y type places.
Yeah. They have dead-eyed, listless people in the back just writing their shit music for them. Here you go, sir.
The Imagine Dragons factory. The amount of time we have spent just being angry at Imagine Dragons on the show. I hope the listeners are not offended by how much I despise that particular band.
I don't imagine you have a lot. What do you, Dragon Heads? What do you think they call themselves?
Drags? I don't know.
Drags.
Madge Drags? I don't know.
I don't think that Venn diagram is overlapping much with your listeners.
Good. And if you like Imagine Dragons, I'm not going to say stop listening. I'm sorry.
I will.
Okay, all right. So we have a paid assassin.
Yeah. Okay. So, and both of those are you just travel.
Yeah.
Goof off a little.
Sounds like you want to get the hell out of L.A. every once in a while.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I love living here, but if I wasn't in the industry, I don't know that I would be here.
Yeah.
It's a great city. I think it's underrated, and people don't realize.
Well, that's another question I usually ask is if. We got a flight of fancy. We can do whatever we want. Are you based here?
Fuck,
it sounds like you're not.
No, Europe.
So is that for both of them, paid assassin and journalist?
I don't think I think Europe is a good bouncing off point for paid assassin.
Absolutely.
Because I think you are going to be having to hit some Balkan areas. You're probably going to have to dip into, maybe
the Middle East.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Which not a climate that I'm particularly adept to.
Well, that's
not the right use of that. Shit. Writer is out the window.
Well, there's going to be some hardships.
There's going to be some hardships. Yeah. You know? It's not all just fucking.
It's not going to be easy.
It's not all just kicking back after
having a pina colada after I murdered a head of state.
Yeah, after taking out a speaker from Parliament in I don't know any countries.
You're going to have to work on your international relations.
Yeah, I didn't think about that too. Yeah, because if you're going to have scruples, you got to know whether or not these people. You got to be like. You're fucking Clooney, you know?
You're going to get a dossier.
Right.
You're going to need to know.
God, I can't wait to get a dossier.
You're going to get a lot of dossiers.
A lot of dossiers. I want that briefcase with like 7 passports.
I wonder if they still hand out dossiers or if it's like a PDF. Not as cool.
Fuck that.
Not as cool.
Fuck that.
What if they designed it so like the page 1 of the PDF is like the front of a manila folder?
Sure.
And then you swipe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be. I don't know.
It would be nice if there was someone in the office with an eye for design.
Yeah. If anybody works for any sort of international espionage agency, let us know.
Yeah,
let us know where the dossier situation is.
Reach out. You definitely know where to find us.
Exactly.
If you're any good at your job.
We're putting down a bounty on our heads right now.
Right
you
now.
can find us.
You can fucking kill us.
Okay.
What better way to get in, you know?
A laser light on my forehead right now.
Well, I mean, I'm the idiot with my back to the window. Jesus.
Well,
that's Assassin 101.
If they had any honor, they wouldn't kill you like that.
That's true.
So, do we have any other exit strategies that you need to look out for?
I think I could do bar owner, but that's more of like a retirement exit strategy.
Yeah.
Not like a I'm not working my way up to that one.
No.
I can't bartend. I would murder someone every day.
Yeah. You just want a place where you can kind of go to at the end of the night.
Yeah.
You know.
Your own spot, little back room.
Yeah.
With the you could whatever the fuck you want to do back there, music, comedy, something.
And you're just behind the bar with a rag, just.
No, I'm not behind that. Are you kidding me? No.
Oh, so you're not going to be a hands-on bartender. You're going to be just
no.
Okay.
Although now that I think about it, okay, hold on. If I own the place, I can tell people to fuck off anytime I want.
Yeah.
I'm back in.
There you go.
I'm taking a shift.
Yeah, you can take
taking one shift a week.
I mean, you're not like I have a feeling that you're not like going to be the craft cocktail bar. I feel like
absolutely not.
Yeah, this is going to be a bottle of beer, maybe 2 taps.
Yes,
if that.
I mean, I like a good craft beer. I wouldn't mind having a half dozen taps in there.
Okay, but you got to know what's on each one of those taps.
Oh, I'll know what's on those fucking taps.
All right.
Yeah, I'll do the ordering.
Hands-on owner over here.
Yeah, a little bit. Just certain things, but I'm not keeping the books. I need someone else to do the hard part.
Do that,
I don't want to really run a business.
I imagine that you would be more interested in what is playing on the speakers and what is on the walls.
Absolutely.
What is the vibe of your bar that you're retiring at? Like I walk in, what am I seeing?
Dark as shit.
Dark walls, dark lights, dark everything.
You don't know what color the walls are.
Okay.
You have no idea. That's how dark it is. Yeah, I mean, if you picture like your typical divey kind of old man bar, but with enough decency to not have a fucking Bud Light banner for some reason, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You walk in. I worked in the beer industry for 6 years in Seattle. You walk into these places and you see like dudes putting up like this great bar that's been there since the 30s, and they slap up a fucking Bud Light banner like "Come watch the game," and just ruins everything.
Just because they got it for free.
Yeah, because the distributor talked him into it, or whatever the fuck, or like pennants, like Corona pennants.
Yeah.
For Cinco de Mayo, just take that shit.
Your
down.
neon Miller Lite sign.
I like a neon sign.
You like a neon sign?
But it shouldn't be like something that looks like it was made that week.
Yeah.
And not like the animated arm of a guy throwing a football and it says LSU or some shit. Like that stuff drives me crazy.
I'm getting the sense that your bar is not going to be a place to watch the game.
No, there will be no fucking TVs. No fucking TVs.
Okay, that's a bold statement.
That's the name of the bar.
No TVs.
No fucking TVs.
I think that there's some potential here.
Oh, absolutely. I would run a hell of a bar for a very specific demographic of people.
Yeah, but people will. They see this. They see the name, and they say, I don't know what it's like in there.
Sure.
And I don't care.
Right.
I'm going to no fucking TVs.
Right. It's like how you used to. There's bar signs, I'm sure, still in this city. It'll be like, Frank's, and then it's like cold drinks, darts, color TV.
Color
It's
TV.
fucking amazing.
Wow.
I would have that sign, except it would just say no fucking TV.
No fucking TVs.
And it is called Frank's, and I don't know why.
You got to be Frank's. Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
I got a good deal on a sign that said Frank's. I turned down a bargain. I'm a small business owner.
I just knocked out the color TV part, and
Yeah.
I'm in business.
Yeah, I'm picture, the shortstop. It's right up the street.
Yeah.
Picture the shortstop. You get rid of those goddamn DJ nights.
Okay, I was going to ask, I imagine that there's a jukebox, or are you
absolutely.
not giving people the opportunity?
Well, there's a jukebox, but it's not a fucking internet jukebox.
Yeah.
It's it can be a CD jukebox.
Yeah.
That's fine. That still has enough class at this point.
Yeah, you also don't want to be out buying 45 all the time.
No, and fixing a fucking no. What a nightmare.
You're just constantly underneath this 3-ton jukebox.
Yeah.
Dusting off records.
But you got to have the kind of sound system where the second the music turns, if someone's not feeding the jukebox, it immediately cuts back to your house music. And a lot of bars don't have that, so it just falls silent. And I get you're trying to encourage people to spend money in the jukebox, but you know what? I'm going to spend more money drinking here if it's not an uncomfortable room to be in. Think it through, The Roost.
Oh, yeah, they do that.
Yeah.
The Roost does that, too, and then also they have a TV that is comically too large for that
insane.
dark room.
Yes.
It's so cold colors
It's
just
awful.
coming at you.
And speaking of which, they weren't on, but in the new smog cutter, there's 6 TVs that big. They were not on, and maybe they're only going to use them for World Cup games or something, but that's not a big bar. It's 6 50-inch TVs in
Those
there.
TVs are too big. Same
It's
at
insane.
let's just name drop all the bars that have too big of TVs. The Faculty. The Faculty on Heliotrope is probably 15 feet wide, and they have a 50-inch TV, two 50-inch. It's just
right
too
behind the
big,
bar.
right
Yes.
behind the bar.
Yes.
Ugh.
Michael, take those down.
Take them down.
It's bullshit.
Now.
You run a classy establishment, and they're not even. It'll just be like TV. You know what I mean? It's
there's TNT's whatever movie's showing on
right,
there. Yeah,
and Sports Center with the sound off. Which thank God the sound's off. But Jesus,
yeah.
And every now and then you'll go into a bar too, and they'll have the sound on low on the TV and be playing music. What the fuck are you doing?
Noise.
It's insane.
Too much noise.
Drives me crazy.
How do you feel about a projected movie?
Fine.
That's kind of levels up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that's kind of the vibe you're putting.
Yeah.
But don't even have cable.
No cable. No.
That way, when some asshole comes in, they're like, "Can you put the game on?" Which, by the way, I don't go to sports bars and tell them to turn the game off. Don't go to a fucking regular neighborhood bar, a comfortable place where people are hanging
turn
out,
the game on?
and ask them to turn it on or turn the sound on. You fucking moron!
No,
How
yeah.
dumb are you, by the way, that you don't? You're a sports fan and you need someone to tell you what's happening.
Yeah.
Just watch the fucking game if you understand the game.
And if it's that important to you, why are you out?
Drives me crazy.
Go
Yeah,
home.
exactly.
Go home.
You're nervous you're going to miss the game. Then you should have either stayed home or planned ahead and gone to a place with wings in the name. Why the fuck are you at
Big Wings in Hollywood closed.
Closed.
He had no alternative. He had to go to your bar.
He had to go to the fucking. He had to come down to Frank's and start bitching at me.
I like in this scenario that Frank's is located on Hollywood Boulevard.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Hollywood's an underrated drinking neighborhood.
It is, but it's Hollywood, so you could just as easily walk into a bar that is a nightmare as one that you're like, I had no idea this existed, and it is amazing inside.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to know what you're doing. It's not for the amateurs, and it's full of amateurs.
It's very full of amateurs. Do we settle on a location for Frank's bar?
Oh, Frank's is not in America. It's not. It's certainly not on Hollywood Boulevard. I wouldn't want to compete with the Frolic Room and the Burgundy Room, any of the rooms.
Any of the rooms.
Great bars.
You might have to turn it to Frank's Room.
Frank's Room. It's definitely in Portugal or some shit.
Okay.
Yeah. We're getting weird. We're going to Lisbon.
So we got an American dive bar in Lisbon.
Sure.
Okay,
Let's do
this.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
They got a lot of weird little alley. You ever been to Lisbon?
No, I've never been.
You're going to have to step up your game if you're going to be a travel writer.
Well, that's what I was saying.
This is embarrassing.
First assignment.
Lisbon.
I'm going to go review Frank's Room
There
in
you go.
Lisbon.
Well, first assignment, go scout me some locations.
Okay. It sounds like I'm working for you in this situation.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
How does it keep becoming my exit strategy and your show?
I don't know.
I
But that's
don't
just
know
how it worked
either.
out. I came in, I took control of this fucking podcast.
That's what he does.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
I'm booking it from now. I'm bringing in way better guests than me. Are you joking?
I think I'm getting bar rescued right now.
You are. Yeah.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Can we do that? Can
That
we
would
do
be
a
amazing.
podcast where it's not even our podcast? We go on other people's podcasts and we bar rescue them.
We intervene.
Yeah.
We teach them when to fucking cut into the conversation. We teach them when to cut out of the conversation. We teach them that maybe you should listen to your podcast, and when you get bored, so is the listener.
So is the listener.
Fucking cut out some of this shit.
We say you cannot have it in your bedroom where your guest sits on your bed.
No, absolutely not.
That's gross.
Yeah, disgusting.
And other topics and rules that we've learned over the years.
You got little mic stands.
Yeah.
You got mics. We're at a kitchen table like a couple of goddamn grown-ups.
We're at a table.
Yeah. Also, I don't need to be in some fucking studio. That's weird
you're
to me.
anti-studio now.
I'm not anti. It's just weird to me that people think they need that.
Yeah.
Like, I guess a lot of it is people just don't realize how easy it is to fucking engineer a podcast.
Yeah.
Like, you can figure it out
That
in an
being said, I
afternoon.
would love to be in a studio.
I mean, it would be nice to have somebody else do the work.
It's so crisp.
Yeah, but it's
I like when a mic hangs like to the left of me and it's on that arm
On the
thing. I
arm.
can pull it in.
Right. The college radio
Here,
arm.
if I want to hold it, I got to like really gingerly,
Delicately.
do it. Otherwise, you can hear every movement of it.
But then you're like driving to the valley.
That is true.
Fuck that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to turn this place into a studio. I'm gonna put up a lot of egg crates all over the wall.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is what's gonna happen,
Okay.
folks. Fast forward in a couple years, you're either going to never see Bryan again because he's an international assassin, or you can find him behind the bar at Frank's room in Lisbon.
Yep.
I think we found an exit strategy for you.
Thanks, man.
You're very welcome. Now we're going to take a little break. We're going to come back. You're going to choose the sponsor for this week's episode. Maybe we could get you a little sponsorship seed money
Sure.
for Frank's Room. We're going to be right back with more Bryan Cook after this. I wish I was in a studio right now
Why is that?
because I would have somebody, if I just finished my water, I would be like,
Oh, you think it comes with an assistant?
it doesn't?
I don't know.
I feel like if I'm paying for studio space,
Okay.
I gotta have access to bottled waters.
Okay. I want a fridge. I want a designated fridge full of motherfucking LaCroix at my disposal.
You know how much like that would just class up your house?
Absolutely.
Just have a fridge dedicated to one item.
Yeah.
That's class.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what that one item is. That one
Absolutely.
item could be cottage cheese, but as long as it's just one thing and it's stacked.
Yep.
And when you take one out, all of a sudden, whoa, everything's pulled up and it looks like it's full again.
You think there's like a guy in the back pushing them forward like a convenience store?
I'm telling you.
Jesus Christ.
If
That
I'm-
would be amazing if anytime a
upgrading.
guest came over, you were just like, cottage cheese?
You want a cottage cheese?
Cottage cheese? You're good?
Just frothy sounds
On the pod.
podcast.
Oh, God. You just look at them like they're weird when they say no. You're like, huh, all right.
Just well-mic'd mucus the whole time.
That's pretty much the NPR's model.
Yeah,
I think they do have fridges full of cottage cheese.
Well, the Cottage Cheese Guild puts them on.
Right, yeah. That's their sponsor. That's not my fucking sponsor.
Your sponsor is not
It is
Cottage
not Cottage
Cheese? Well,
Cheese.
we've come to that time. Sorry, Cottage Cheese.
Yeah.
You once again.
You have to work a little
not-
fucking harder to get Bryan Cook on your side, Cottage Cheese.
Not the sponsor this week.
No.
Brian, who is the sponsor for this week's episode of Exit
CD
Strategy?
jukeboxes.
CD jukeboxes.
Compact disc jukeboxes.
Bring them on.
Bring them back.
Now, see, you are fighting the good fight
Mm-hmm.
because right now I think we are in the golden age
Yes.
of digital phone-based.
Yes.
Like people can look on their phones
Right.
for the song. They don't have to be at the jukebox.
Right. You don't even have to be at the bar.
Oh, that's true. That
Yeah.
actually is that has opportunity for some serious pranking.
Yes, it does. That is great. If you have a buddy that works somewhere with one of those Touch Tunes jukeboxes, and you can just put on just a layer cake of Slayer and Taylor Swift just back and forth for an hour and a half, it's worth the $30.
Yeah, that is absolutely the best, and just every day.
Yeah.
It's just stop. You could ruin a bar like that.
Yeah,
Like,
I
you
mean,
can literally
there's gotta
take down a
there's got to be a
business.
kill switch, right?
Like, we're not doing this. We're turning that off.
When I worked at a pizza joint in high school, we had a kill switch because my friends would do this. They would walk in, and we had fucking Achy Breaky Heart on that
Oh,
jukebox.
God, why?
It was 1993 in a shitty small town.
Yeah.
And it was just like a service that came. You didn't request anything. Just a guy came and changed out the singles or whatever
This
the fuck
is the
were in
hit.
there. And yeah, and so my friends would come in and just play Achy Breaky Heart. Achy Breaky Heart. It's hard to say that with all
Breaky
the
Heart.
fucking mucus from your goddamn cottage cheese.
I have a feeling you're going to be singing "Achy Breaky Heart" at your show at some point. It's like out there now.
That has to happen. Ugh.
But you were saying none of that digital shit.
No.
CDs.
Fuck a digital jukebox. They're the worst.
Yeah.
And now we're at the point where like a CD jukebox is fucking retro.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make your bar look stupid.
No, it's got like it's a little grimy.
Yeah.
And it's a little like, whoa.
Yeah.
See. And then also, nothing beats a well-curated jukebox.
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Virgil. Very well-curated jukebox. Yeah. And a lot of people don't know this, free all the time.
Get to the Virgil.
Yep.
They got some good ones on there.
I
flipped through the Virgil before.
Yeah.
That is an underrated skill because you're throwing in probably a lot of different genres.
Definitely.
But then, especially at the Virgil, like there's a lot of different genres, so you don't know what's going to be there. But for some reason, they all kind of still connect.
It still kind of works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have somebody throw out a mishmash of stuff.
Right.
But it still works.
It still works.
Yeah.
It's a good juke.
Do you have any juke recommendation? Like, what would be on? Do you have some hot hits that you would definitely be putting on your juke?
It's
some albums.
It's gonna run the gamut, but no fucking mixtapes.
Yeah,
it's gonna be album only.
No greatest
hits.
Okay.
No, like sometimes a are just put their own. Like I just burned these and stuck it in there.
Yeah.
No, fuck that.
No.
If it's album only. What are the other rules? That's it. That's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of shit that you're not going to know necessarily, but guess what? You're going to fucking like it when you hear it.
And then the one person who does know it's going to be like, I knew I made the right decision.
Exactly. And they're coming back to that bar.
Yeah. Are you going to make it free or are you going to...
Oh, it's free. Yeah,
okay.
Jukebox is free.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, they are doing the work, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's also a fun meeting area. You don't have to be on your phone.
Right.
At your booth.
Right.
You can be over there and then somebody says, oh, did you put on this song? And you have a conversation.
Right.
Bam.
Or not. I don't want to talk to most people.
Yeah, but you want to talk to that person if it's a good song that you put on.
Sure.
You got to take that glory.
The only thing I do like about the internet jukebox, I will say this, other than getting to fuck with your friends, is you can be. I do this every time I go to the Roost, as long as it's like 90 degrees outside.
Yeah.
Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas Is You" every fucking time. And guess what happens 100%? Everyone goes, "What the fuck?" And then after 30 seconds, they're like, "This is a fucking jam.
This is a really good
This
song.
is a great song."
Really good song.
Halfway through, people are singing along.
Yep.
Half the time, they're dancing.
I was at a party last night that had comically low level karaoke, like where you could hear, like you could make out everybody's voice so low.
Oh.
But somebody did that song, everybody went for it.
Of course.
They went for that song.
Of course they did.
And they belted it.
Is it overplayed at the holidays? Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
It's
But
not
you
overplayed
have
in
to-
July.
At July at Frank's Room is when all the Christmas hits come out. The Phil Spector album comes out. The Mariah Carey album comes out.
That's
it's
it.
holiday.
That's literally it. There's nothing else worth listening to.
Well, CD jukeboxes. Hopefully, the CD jukebox industry hears this. I don't know if there's I don't know how they're doing these days.
If they want to hit me up with a free Wurlitzer,
DM.
DM.
We'll get you Brian's address. You can load him up with equipment.
Better yet, perhaps you know someone in the NSA.
Yeah.
And you can find me.
Ooh.
Call back.
You're going to have the spy agencies be bringing you CD jukeboxes as
open.
payment for your first job.
And that's fine. I will work my way up as long as there is at least some kind of payment.
We've come full circle on this episode.
We
Now,
did
for those of people that don't have access to unlimited intelligence services and they want to know more about Bryan Cook, is there anything that you want to throw out there as, hey, check this out?
Thursdays at the Virgil, not this month. I don't know when this pod comes out.
I think it'll be 2019.
Okay, good.
So check it out Thursday at the
Thursdays
Virgil.
at the Virgil, 8 o'clock, Big Money Comedy.
Big money. See the classiest stage setup in comedy.
We got a curtain.
Got a curtain. They got
It's not in
lights.
front of the stage, but there's a curtain.
It's the curtain's doing some heavy lifting.
It absolutely
don't worry
is.
about that.
It really pulls the room together.
So check that out. Anything else on the internet? I guess go to Guilty Treasure when the next one hits, so you can hear Bryan sing "Keep Break Your Heart."
There you go.
Live and in person. Thank
The
you for
way it was
coming on
meant
the
to be.
show.
Thanks for having me.
Bryan. I cannot wait to see you blossom as a international assassin and
Thank
criminal. We'll see y'all next week on Exit Strategy. Goodbye.